Hello, welcome back to Molon Lave Wargaming. This is the combat replay for the December 19th, 1941 turn. And doesn't it feel nice that this is not a mulligan turn? We are back on... back to doing original turns that we hope we'll never have to do twice again. So, yeah, it's good to be done with that. I am going to apologize for not doing a setup for this turn, a setup video. I think you guys can imagine, just with the kind of the chaos that the mulligan situation called. There wasn't much of a point to that. But starting with the 20th, we should be back to normal. So over here, just south of Hawaii, we've encountered a rather large task force of destroyers. A true ASW task force would have a maximum of 4 ships. So this is probably a surface warfare task force. We're not sure what they're doing here. We didn't think that they knew we had subs here, so I don't think they came here looking for us. So, something to keep an eye on. We have a nightcap over Kwanton this time, although they don't do anything. But the enemy bombers don't do anything either. More ships sinking. Too bad. Alright, got a bombardment at Batangas. Good chance this is already cleared out, but I think I've said that before. Yeah, I'm not seeing any hits, so this is looking pretty empty. This is a good time to mention as any. So in a lot of videos there's been this obnoxious popping sound, and I think that was basically the plastic in my headset creaking and the mic picking that up. So I've replaced my headset, so hopefully that popping noise isn't going to be present anymore. Oh, did we just pick somebody up? Got multiple contacts over there in the Coral Sea area. This could get interesting. Alright, major sweep over at Singapore. AVG is out in force. Hopefully it'll be a while before we get outnumbered. No matter what kind of performance advantages you may think you have, superiority of your platform or another, war in the Pacific is always a numbers game. It's evening up. Let's get some hits. Well, numbers are now in their favor. Oh, did I just see Pappy Bowington? Yep, he's here. The legend appears. It's okay, we can shoot him down too. Come on, get him. Yeah, I could do without the durability of these Allied aircraft. 1B Oscar has 150 caliber gun and 130 caliber. Overall, not really the best, but better than 230 cals. Clearly not going to completely sweep the skies with this sweep. Oh man, now they're up to 37. Whew. Yeah, maybe time for these Oscars to pull out. Get him. So, amazingly, with as many aircraft that were in contact, there were no outright shoot-downs. Now, we did score a whole lot of hits on these guys, so I'm sure when we review the turn, we'll see plenty of air-to-air kills resulting from them crashing back at base. But, I mean, for now, it doesn't look like we really put that much of a dent in the enemy cap here this turn. Alright, Manila. Oh my god, how did this happen? This is gonna suck. Well, at least we're hitting them too, right? Could have been worse. Could have been worse. So that was 6 Nells down by my count. Got 1 submarine with heavy damage. I guess it's something. Hey! It's the zeros. Could have used you guys a little while ago. For the record, I do have zeros assigned to escort duty at the same altitude as those Bettys and Nells. Seeing a stark difference here between how fast these P-40s are going down and how much punishment the P-40s over Singapore were taking. It's kind of a hint that I should probably be using my zeros in Singapore a bit more. Alright, let's kill some planes on the ground here, please. Barely even hurt the airbase. Moderate rain. Do we ever have good weather over Luzon? Nothing. That's disappointing. Oh, thunderstorms. Not bad at all. Yeah, you can actually hit stuff when it's only light clouds. Okay. Attacking you with kingfishers, are we? I'm surprised these guys aren't going down faster. Yeah, didn't actually shoot any down outright. Ooh. Little counterattack going on here. I wonder what airfield these guys are actually operating out of. The lack of any aircraft being destroyed at Clark probably means they weren't there. So Manila's the obvious alternative, but there may be others. Ooh, jettison's ordnance. This isn't a sweep, it's a ground attack. Yep, 3-1. It does not look like they did any damage on the ground. And we're attacking some ships. Nowhere near as important as a carrier. Not even as important as a replenishment group. Of course, we didn't send a whole lot of planes there. 14 zeros looks a little heavy. That's concerning. I hope that doesn't mean I'm going to have another strike that doesn't have enough zeros to get through, let's say, I don't know, the Lexington and Enterprise's cap. Chance to wear down Singapore a bit. Better from the start, and we're seeing the 1 Charlie version of the Oscar with 250 cals as opposed to the 150 and 130. Still seem to struggle to get hits, and eventually it's still just damaging them. Ugh. Apparently the enemy's doing better too. Get him. There we go. Yes. Hell yeah. Alright, well, after the first sweep was rather pitiful, did pretty well with that one. 6 P-40 shot down to 1 Oscar shot down. Ship contacts all over the place over there. Let's start sinking them. Okay. Well, we got ship contacts all over the Coral Sea. Could include carriers or replenishment groups. Let's hit them. Aircraft landing. Are you kidding me? Another overwhelmed enemy unit gets to retreat instead of surrendering. Alright. Deliberate attack on Hong Kong. Maybe we'll get some good news here. Could use some good news this turn. No, we didn't take it. These results continue to show disproportionate losses for the Allies. I don't know, maybe I just need to shock attack and accept higher casualties here. I'm calling this modified 1-to-1 odds, but... I don't know. I guess I shouldn't worry about it too much. I mean, we've got the, this enemy unit kind of dead to rights here. We can just defeat them out in the open and then move on to Hong Kong. I am assuming I have the stronger group there, which maybe I don't know that yet, but it seems pretty likely. Speaking of which, yeah, I've got the stronger group. So they're forced into retreat. So the enemies around Canton have been harassed and defeated enough that I don't believe they pose a threat to Canton anymore. So yeah, we should be able to move these guys into Hong Kong, and that'll put us over the top. Alright, so this is a highly defensible hex over here in the Kaifeng area, but we outnumber them pretty good. Yeah, 12-to-1 odds. That's a retreat. Nice. 99 combat squads destroyed. Alright, another deliberate attack. Basically a nothing unit here. Enemy shock. Oh no, that's our shock attack at Temelo. Basically, broken enemy units defending. Oh, we don't even take casualties in spite of the shock attack. Oh, look at this, the enemy's in the wrong op mode. Plus we've been bombing them most of the last turns. Defeating the guys that ran from the NATO here. Still can't force him to surrender. And of course, we've got to take more bombardment attacks at Raval. Yeah, their bombardment attacks from Hong Kong are actually starting to do something now. If you consider one squad disabled doing something. Ooh, an allied shock attack. Oh, this is the one I baited him into by slow-moving my troops. Oh, he got me. I got. So, Allied has shock, disruption, morale, supply, but he still managed to force us to retreat. Now, at least casualties were pretty bad for them, too. I mean, I don't like taking this much losses at this point. It's a pretty important unit, division strength. But we got it as good as we took it back. What was that, 2 cores? Yeah. So those 2 cores are borderline combat ineffective after this. Yeah, just taking these 2 bases, the paratroopers, no big deal. Look at this. Enemy units advanced onto the road. I'd strongly consider assigning some bombers over there. Excuse me. Yeah, look at that. We're getting some SCs back, or maybe some brand new ones. That's nice. Let's start with the losses. We took some petty losses that I'm really not happy about over Luzon. These planes had escorts assigned and they didn't fly. And there were sweeps in place from bases that were much closer than where the Bettys were flying out of. Those sweeps arrived late. Moderate losses for Oscars, also lost to 0. 2 operational losses for the Tinas, probably the ones transporting those troops. So yeah, I mean it's losses like this air to air with the Oscars are expected, but the thing with the Betty is a problem. So the Allies lost 22 planes compared to our 16, and we're seeing concentration of these losses air to air. So just 5 H-81s. I actually counted 6 in a single engagement. So that makes me wonder. I usually expect these numbers at the end to be pretty accurate. And what really surprises me is we're not seeing like ops losses or crashed at the way back to base type losses for them. We've also got 7 P-40Bs and P-39s lost over Luzon. Didn't do too bad over Luzon, except for the problem with the bombers. Alright, so we didn't lose any ships today. Officially, they didn't lose any, but we were hearing sinking sounds all day. There's plenty of damaged enemy ships succumbing to their injuries. So, looking over at China, yeah, Hong Kong, it can't hold on much longer. I'm surprised it's held on this long. I was thinking maybe the reason is because these guys might have made it in, but clearly they haven't. So that's not what's going on. We finally caught these guys, so that's probably some good news, and we've got a division strength unit, so shouldn't have any problem getting rid of those guys. Took it on the chin over here a little bit, but look at all that AV we've got here in Shenyang, so we're in perfect position to counterattack these beat-up guys. So joke's on them, I guess. Yeah, it's still stray units all over the place here. We caught these guys. Not sure who that's going to be, and maybe I don't care, because this is a fairly strong collection of troops that we've met up with them with. I've cleared this rail line, so that's good news. I've caught these guys, so we'll be able to get rid of them and then reinforce these guys hopefully pretty soon. So we know we don't have enough to push those guys out. But we're starting to see an offensive coming together here in Kaifeng. We've already pushed them out of this hex. We've got some movement here adjacent to the rail line. So hopefully we'll have a substantial move on them soon, and we're pushing down this railroad and path to Sion. So going on the offensive up in the north, and you can see we're closing in on Chuxin from two sides now. So some offensive stuff going on in eastern China as well. No contacts at Rangoon. I guess no news is good news there. We've reached Tavoy, so that should be interesting. Looks like they don't have much defending there. We didn't move in much, but very little on defense. So maybe this might be someplace for our Bettys to take a turn off from naval engagements and do something about that. We're seeing my Oscar squadron here that recently transitioned to the 1 Charlies is nearly fully operational, so that might be my cue to pull the Zeros out, especially considering how badly the Zeros are needed over here. Only showing 12 fighters in Singapore. We know that's wrong. Maybe they're actually based out of somewhere else, so may need to do some recon around here. See if we can locate an alternative fighter base that they might be coming from. No confirmation on anything that looks like Force Z. Although, this is a lot of ships we're suddenly seeing in port over at Palembang. Our additional engineers are arriving in Kuching. And they have not been detected. So that's great news. See, my heavy covering force has met up with the reinforcements headed to Sinkawang. I may want to time this and to make sure that they're not arriving in the overnight pulse, which looks like that's what's going to happen anyways. These guys are going to arrive during the day. Force Z is going to hit Sinkawang. That's far more likely to happen in the overnight pulse than during the day. Anything else of note? Yes. We have infantry that's caught up with our tank over here. So that means we should be able to take Taiping this turn. We took Temulo, so that's good news. Let me turn these search arcs off for a second. So we don't have a direct connection to Kuala Lumpur, but we're getting pretty close. And actually, if we can take this step off the road over here, we can start cutting off retreats. So yeah, these guys are pretty much stuck. Although our units just being here in Taiping are probably interfering with that plenty. Yeah, it really would be nice for me to send in my Mersing Reserve, but it really just doesn't make sense with the amount of AVG activity here. Alright, looking at the Philippines, we have advanced to Lingayen, very much in force. Which hex are these guys moving to? Okay, yeah, they're moving to San Fernando. That's a tank unit. And this is infantry. Okay, so that's interesting. So we expected the tanks to rush around for our soft underbelly, but the tanks instead are doing some off-roading. They're trying to traverse from one hex to another in pretty rough terrain. Jungle rough. So that's very hard for infantry to move. It's especially hard for tanks to move. So yeah, so that's good news for us. 24 fighters reported in Clark. No fighters reported over here. Still plenty of ships reported in Batangas. I don't know how he didn't score any hits on anything. And still ships reported in Taytay. I don't know how we're bombarding these and not destroying them. But, you know, if Recon's telling us these are here, we can keep cycling ships in to hit them. And, you know, hopefully we'll get our airstrikes to happen too. But in the meantime, I'd really like to prioritize just getting rid of these fighters, because once we get rid of the fighters, we'll have a free hand. Of course, they may be close to just losing Clark, just due to our forces advancing on them. Yeah, Lingayen will fall in a single turn. We're going to have to do something about this so we can hit Clark in proper force. Just something to think about. Alright. Carriers are heading to get their replenishment. Not from these guys, there's not enough fuel there. But Babel will have enough fuel for them. Plus they need to refresh their sorties. Looks like 3 submarines are trying to interfere with me getting to Babel. And we have contacts here. Just patrol craft, no big deal. So nothing hanging out around Solomon and Bismarck Sea. Can't really tell who these aircraft are over here. Of course, we really want to know who these guys are. Alright, 5 ships unidentified. Their replenishment group, so that's a target we want. Don't know who these guys are, don't know who these guys are. So I think we were saying that we expected them. So starting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that was 1 day's movement on mission speed. Then we expected them to go basically half their movement to refuel, and then the rest of their movement post-refueling. So we think they made it here last turn. So since they've been refueled, they're going to step on the gas, and they're going to try to make it, so like 18 hexes. So they probably made it to Bundaberg. It's probably the best thing to do as far as hunting those guys down. Let's reactivate the search arcs. We may be too far west already to prevent them from getting away by looping east. So I'll have to consider whether I want to try moving off to the east to prevent them from basically slipping out of the net that way, or if I just want to more or less assume they're going to Sydney. Something to think about. But in the meantime, I don't want this replenishment group getting away, because limiting their replenishment options, whether or not I get his carriers this time, that's going to limit his ability to deploy carriers and help them get away in situations like this in the future. Last thing I think I want to check is going to be Pearl. We did have a whole lot of contacts. Looks like we lost that surface action group that we picked up down here. Patrol craft, Nothing Burger, an ASW squadron. Alright, well, I guess I don't have much else to say about that. Are we getting detection levels on these guys close aboard? Well, this guy is, but I mean, he's right next to them. No. Alright, so that's going to do it. Be getting back to doing regular setup and then combat replay going forward, starting with the 20th. So we'll catch you then. Thanks for watching.